Hey there, my name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaten Path located in Forest City, North Carolina. For today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make a 3D Christmas tree pendant. Now, the fun thing about the pendant is that you can use smaller beads and make them into earrings. And this is a really fun pattern and it yields beautiful results. So for today's project, what you're going to need is 32 4mm green bicones. This can be emerald green, whatever color green you want. Most of your trees are going to be emerald green or green tourmaline. You're going to need 2 4mm Citrine Bicones, 2 4mm Tanzanite Bicones, 2 4mm Sapphire Bicones, 3 4mm Siam Bicones. You're going to need a 6mm Light Colorado Topaz Cube, a 5mm Light Colorado Topaz Bicone, and 2 4mm Light Colorado Topaz Bicones. You're also going to need 4 size 11 green seed beads, as well as about 16 inches of illusion cord. And if you'd like to, you can also use big eye needles for this project. So get your materials together and we'll get started. To start out, you're going to take and thread one big eye needle onto one end of your illusion cord. And I'm going to pick up 4 green seed beads. I'm going to slide them down. I'm going to leave myself just a little tail, and I'm going to tie the tail and the working thread together. So that way my beads will form a circle. And I normally put about 2 knots in the piece. Now, holding my tail, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through one bead next to my knot. This group of 4 seed beads here is going to be the very top of my Christmas tree. Let me pop this bead out here. There we go. Okay, so this is our circle of 4. The first thing I'm going to do is pick up 3 4mm green seed beads. My thread is exiting this direction, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come through that same green bead I'm coming out of to make a circle. I'm going to hold and I'm going to pull on through so that now I have my green circle and then I have the 3 green that I just added. Now I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to come through the green 4mm right next to where I'm exiting. I'm going to pick up 2 4mm green bicones. My thread is exiting away from the beadwork. I'm going to come to the next green seed bead in my circle, which is this one here, and I'm going to come through it going back towards my beadwork. Go through just the one and pull. Okay, so that now when you pull, this is what you should have. I'm going to take the needle, I'm going to come down through the green I was just coming out of to start my step. On through the 2 green I just added. And then through the next green in my circle, which is going to be this one. So this is what you should have so far. I'm going to pick up 2 green 4mm my thread is exiting out of the seed bead, exiting away. I'm going to make a circle, so I'm going to come back to the last green bicone that I added, which is this one, and I'm going to come up through it, going towards the center, towards the beadwork here. So that now this is what you should have. And to get into position, I'm going to go through the same seed bead I just went through to start the step. And then I'm going to come on through the 4mm right next to where I'm coming out. And it's going to be the first one, or that second one there that we picked up. Okay, so now when I put my pieces together, this is what you have if you flatten it out. And this is what you'll have if you kind of pinch it together. The first thing I'm going to do is take a pair of cutters and I'm going to trim off the excess here at the top. Okay, so I'm trimming off my little tail. Get rid of that. Now, we're doing right angle weave boxes basically. And I've got bead number 1, bead number 2 I'm coming out of. I don't have a bead number 3. And bead number 4 is this first green that I added here on the other side. So I'm going to pick up one 4mm green and I'm going to come right to the very next 4mm and I'm going to flatten it out here so you can see it a little better. So here's my 3 circles that I've added so far. I'm coming out here and I want to connect, so I'm going to come to this opposite bicone and I'm going to come up through the bicone. So that when you pull, now you have a circle of 4 on the bottom and you've got your start of your structure here on top. Now, to go to my next step, I'm going to go through the seed bead right next to where I'm coming out. Down through a crystal. And then on through a 4mm. Here's where I'm coming out. I'm going to come right on through a 4mm here on the bottom row of 4. So when you hold it like this, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to work the next row off of those 4 beads. We're not worried about any of these other beads here anymore. Just these 4 here on the bottom. So I'm ready to start actually adding some of my beads, the colors for the lights. So I'm going to pick up 1 4mm citrine, 2 4mm greens, and 1 4mm Tanzanite. So this is my section that I'm going to pick up. And what I'm going to do, my thread is coming out this direction. I want to make a circle, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come through the same bicone that I'm coming out of, going in this direction. So that now you have a circle of beads added to the 1 bicone. Now, I'm going to come down through the Citrine Bicone to get into position for the next circle. I'm going to turn it to my next green bicone here on the bottom. And I'm going to pick up 2 4mm dark green and 1 4mm sapphire. My thread is exiting out of the 4mm citrine. So I'm going to come to the next 4mm green here on my little circle of 4. And I'm going to come back through it going towards the yellow. So that now I have my next loop added. So to get into position, I'm going to come down through the Citrine Bicone. Through the 2 green that I just added. To the blue I just added. And then through the next green on my circle of 4 here. So it'll be the very next green next to the blue. So this is what you should have so far. This time I'm going to pick up 1 sapphire and 2 green bicones. I'm going to take my needle. I want to make a circle here coming out of the green this direction. So I want to come around and I'm going to come up through the sapphire, going up towards the top of the beadwork. Through the green I was just exiting at the start of this step. And then down through the Siam I just added. Alright, now I'm ready to finish off my last section. This is what I've got so far. You can see I've got 2, 2, 2, and then no greens here. So, as you might have guessed it, I'm going to pick up 2 green 4mm. My thread is coming out here of the red Siam, and I'm going to come across to the Tanzanite Bicone, the purple, and I'm going to go up through it, going towards the top of the beadwork, so that when I pull it through, that finishes the next layer of the tree. And this is what you should have here on the bottom. Instead of having one set of 1 bead, I've got sets of 2 here. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 green. To get into position for the next row, I am going to go through the green right between the purple and the red. Down through the Siam, and then through 1 bead of a set of 2 here, right next to where I'm coming out. Alright, we're ready to go to the next step. So I'm going to pick up, excuse me, I'm going to pick up 1 4mm sapphire and 2 4mm emerald. Just like this. My thread is coming out of the green here. I want to make a circle, so I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to come back through that same green to make a circle. To get into position for the next circle, I'm going to go straight down through the blue that I just added. This time, I'm going to pick up 2 4mm green. My thread is coming out of the blue here. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come to the very next green here on the base. And I'm going to come back through the green, going towards the blue. So that this is what you should have at this point. And if I turn it up like that, this is what you'll have. So to get in position for the next step, I'm going to go down through the blue, through the 2 green I just added, and then through the next green on the previous row here. So it's the very next green. This time I'll pick up one 4mm Siam and one 4mm green. My thread is coming out of the green here. I want to make a circle, so I'm going to come back around to the previous 4mm green, and I'm going to come up through it going towards the top of my beadwork. So when I pull, this is what I'll have now. And I want to get into position for the next circle, so I'm going to go through the green I was just coming out of and then down through the red. So through the green and then the red. Okay, next circle is two 4mm green. My thread is coming out of the bottom of the red. I want to make a circle, so I'm going to come back to the green, the very next green here on the base row. I'm going to come back through the green, going towards the red. That makes my next circle. To get into position, I'm going to go through the red, through the two green that I just added, and then through the very next green on my base row. Alright, I'm going to pick up one 4mm citrine and one 4mm, one 4mm Tanzanite and one 4mm green. I want to make a circle here, so I'm going to take my needle. My thread is coming out of the 4mm, going away. I want to make that circle, so I'm going to come back through the 4mm there right below the yellow. So that when I pull, this is what I've got. Then to get into position, I'm going to come through the green I just went through and then the purple I just added. So through the green, then through the purple. Next step is two green 4mm. My thread is coming out here of the bottom of the purple. I'm going to come to the next 4mm green here on the base, and I'm going to come back through that 4mm going towards the purple. To get into position for the next step, I'm going to come through the purple, through the two green I just added, and then through the next green on the base. This time I'll pick up one 4mm citrine and one 4mm green. I want to make my circle, so I'm coming out this direction here. I'm going to come around and come back up through the green right below the sapphire. Then to get into position to finish out my last little circle here, I'm going to go through the green I was just coming out of, and then down through the yellow, and now to finish my last circle here, I'm coming out of the yellow. I'm going to pick up one 4mm green. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come right up through the 4mm green right next to my yellow. So that now that finishes out that row. And I have a yellow, two blue, two green, a purple, two green, a red, two green, a blue, and two green. So this is what it looks like so far. So I'm getting a nice 3D cone shape. To get into position to do the last step here for the bottom, I'm going to go through the green right next to the citrine, through the citrine, and then through the next two greens on the bottom. I'm going to pick up one 4mm green. I'm going to skip the space here where the blue's at, and I'm going to come right through the next two 4mm greens. And pull. And you'll want to pull so that it pops that green into place. It's going to stick out just a little. Pick up one 4mm green. I'm going to skip the red space here, and I'm going to go right on through the next two 4mm greens. Pick up one 4mm green, skip the space here at the purple, and go through the next two green. And then pick up one 4mm green, skip the space here at the yellow, and then go through the next two 4mm greens. So that when you pull that, this is what your bottom looks like. This is a side view with your colors, and then this is the very top. Now to finish off, that was our last step for the actual stitching of the tree part. So what you'll do is at this point, you want to do a couple of half-hitch knots. So I'm going to go up under the thread between two green beads here. And then I'm going to leave myself a little loop, stick the needle through the loop, and pull. And you want to put a couple of knots in. And then I'm going to stitch through a couple of beads. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Put one or two little knots. And then stitch through. There we go. And then once you do that, go ahead and trim your thread so that now you have your 3D actual top part for your Christmas tree. Now, how I finish off my Christmas tree is I take my head pin, and you want to thread on the 6mm cube, the 5mm bicone, and two 4mm bicones. Go through the bottom here and make sure to stick the head pin through the top hole. You'll thread on the last 4mm red and then make a loop at the top to actually finish out your Christmas tree. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make the 3D Christmas tree. To learn any other projects, you can check out our YouTube page where we put a new project on every week. Be sure and check out our Facebook page. You can also order some supplies from our Etsy site. And as always, be sure and check out offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. Thank you so much for purchasing this DVD, and thank you for your support, and we'll see you again for the next how-to video. Bye-bye.